Hello and welcome to episode 1456 of The Sleeper and the Bust. It is Friday, November 14th. I'm your host, Paul Sporer, joined this afternoon by Justin Mason. Justin, how's it going?
It's going. It's Friday. It's my birthday weekend, so I'll
Happy
be
birthday. Is it Saturday
turning
or Sunday? It's in my phone. Let me see.
Sunday. Sunday.
Okay.
So
I'm not used to doing intros because I didn't even do the intro in Arizona
I know, right?
because
You were
it was
late.
late. Yep. Breakfast took forever. Yeah. So yeah, my fill-in was there though, my twin, which was great. But no, we're back. We're hanging. Unfortunately, as often happens when Arizona happens, there are casualties. There are people who get
Yeah.
sick from it, and our buddy Joe was one such. Going from Arizona back to Toronto, he said the weather change knocked him on his ass. He feels like crap, and he's buried
Joe
under the blanket.
Joe's in midseason form. He's already on
Right.
the IL.
He's already on.
Yeah.
He is, and you know what? What better time to talk about our IL god than an episode like today where we're going to be talking high volume busts. Now, it's a little bit of a misnomer there because we aren't going to talk about a lot of guys who got hurt a ton because that's an easy way to say, okay, that was a bust season.
Yeah.
Now, there will be injuries discussed here because it did play a role in why some of these guys were not playing well. But really, the question, regardless of whether it's injury or underperformance, is what are we going to do going forward? So I've got 9 high volume guys, and for our 10th guy, he didn't have high volume, but he's just somebody we always got to talk about. Jordan Alvarez only had 199 plate appearances last year, 48 games. He was still pretty good, though not himself, with just a 121 OPS, 6 homers. It's a washout season. What do we do with him now? He's going to be 29 next year with the knees of a 57-year-old. And I'm barely kidding there, dude. The last time he had the big injury, which was 23, he only played 114 games, they said his knees are like shot. So I didn't even touch him in 2024, which I missed out on. He was great. But I've been afraid of Alvarez now for a few years, and my confidence is not up because I don't think the price will go down enough. How do you feel about Alvarez going forward now?
Well, not only did he miss time, but he missed so much time. He only played 15 games in the outfield, so he's only going to be UT
Oh, back
eligible
to UT.
in leagues where it's a 20-game minimum. So that's the first thing you got to think about. And the
Yep.
second thing is like, yeah, it's like how many plate appearances can you project for him? He's going to be good when he's on the field.
Sure.
And so in your 10 and 12 team leagues, like it might be worth the risk, especially because I think there's going to be a pretty decent discount. I should actually bring up the
37
ADP.
right now.
Okay, there we go.
I'll have the ADP pulled
37.
up. Yeah.
That's not a
Nothing.
big enough
That's
discount.
nothing. 37 for a UT only Alvarez at age 29.
Yeah.
No chance. 57 is the max. I don't even think that's cheap enough. I was thinking like 75, 80, maybe I could get on board.
That's way too high.
That I just can't do it. I can't do it. It's scary.
Yeah.
And again, it's the lower leg injuries, they're going to sap the power too. And so then is he going to even be the 30?
But he's also one of those guys that could be a league winner. Like
Absolutely.
right? Like,
He could hit 40 some. He hasn't yet because he hasn't hit 600 plate appearances but one time and he hit 35 homers. But yeah, if he does spike the random 600 plate appearances, Alvarez is a good bet to go 300, 30, and then, 90 to 100 if he gets more plate appearances. So I understand wanting to take him, but how high can you realistically pay?
I'd say if I got him in the 4th round, I wouldn't feel
Okay.
too bad about it.
And so then you're talking 4th round. Well, then maybe you're okay here because if you're talking 12 teamers where you like him more, 4th round of a 12
Oh,
teamer.
no. In a 12 teamer, I want him
Okay.
probably 5th or 6th.
Okay. So you're trying to get down there closer to the 60s.
Yeah, I think, because we start like just picking names, right?
Yeah.
Would you rather have him or Matt Olson? Go and pick
I'm
48.
going Olsen for sure.
Yeah. Would you rather have Brent Rooker?
I go Rook. He's got outfield, right?
Yeah. I think that's where you start to really.
That's a good pivot point there, right there. with
Yeah,
Rooker and
especially because
Alvarez.
there's a drop off in talent, especially offensively there. Oh, here's an interesting one. Would you rather have Alvarez or Freddie Freeman?
Oh,
I think I'd go Freeman, right?
I think I would too. He himself obviously has some issues with health, and he's even older. But again, he's going to be going into his 36th season, whereas Alvarez going into 29, and I'm not sure I have their bodies that different in age. But yeah, I think I still would go Freeman because even though he's been nagged, he's only missed 15 games the last 2 years
Yeah.
each, 15 in each of the 2 years. So it's not like he is on the sidelines forever. I think I still stick with Freeman, and that's pick 61.
And,
So I'm never getting Alvarez
I
right
mean, and
now.
not only that, like you have like recent examples of Freddie Freeman getting 700 plate appearances. The last time Freddie Freeman didn't get to at least 600 plate appearances, outside of obviously the 2020 shortened season, in which he played all 60 games, was 2017. Like, you can
Iron
pretty
Man.
much bank a 300 batting average, 20 plus home runs in 600 to 700 plate appearances on Freddie
Right.
Freeman. So, like, I think you got to take Freddie Freeman. I think there's other guys around that area that are interesting conversations. Like, would you rather have Alvarez versus Roman Anthony, Alvarez versus Jackson Merrill? I think I lean Alvarez there just because the track record, we know what the upside is,
Sure.
right?
Yeah,
Where we
both those
don't really
guys,
know what the upside is on Merrill or Roman Anthony,
definitely.
but I do feel like late 50s, early 60s is kind of where he should be going, but he's not. He's going 37 is
In a
like,
row. I mean,
yeah.
if he stays up there, again, I just won't have Alvarez
I can
anywhere.
understand. I like I said, I can understand why people are making that pick. It just feels at least around early. Like
And I
if he's
wish I
going
could get
52, I'd be like, okay, that's
yes.
probably the right spot.
And if I can get a position, it's that UT. And I'm not. I don't usually trip out about filling UT, but it's usually when I'm filling it with somebody like Otani, or somebody that I believe in the volume for, like a Schwarber.
Yeah.
I guess maybe I should be less worried about filling that because then it leaves your util spot open more. And I guess that does he is easier to replace, right? I guess if we can look at it as a positive for Alvarez with the missed time, he is easier to replace at UT only because you're just filling the wild card spot all the time. So that is maybe a little silver lining, a little bronze lining there. We were almost getting down in the ADP to the next guy here. He's a little bit further down, 69 for this next year. That is a 39 pick drop for Austin Riley, who unfortunately did not have a nice season. You mentioned Matt Olson earlier. Both of them kind of struggled, but it was really Riley that really fell off. In fact, I think Olson's struggles are a little bit overstated to the point where when I took a look at his line this week, I was like, I'm sorry. Why do we even call it? Never mind. Should we even call it a struggle? Is it just because he only hit 29 homers? Because his slash line was excellent for Olson. He had a 138 OPS plus. But Riley was not quite as lucky or quite as good. 102 games for him, 447 plate appearances, 260, 309, 428. So still put up a pretty full season and gave you some numbers, but not what you wanted at pick 30. And I should mention this at the outset. These 9 players after Alvarez averaged 470 plate appearances with a minimum of 350. So again, these are relatively high volume busts because generally the busts are they played 200 plate appearances and they sucked. Who cares? We moved on. These guys were around a lot, which almost makes them tougher because you had to decide, do I play them? Do I stick with them? And Riley was one of those guys. You got a bland 106 OPS plus. So I guess the main question here would be, was it just an injury washout for the 29-year-old next year that you could buy back in on, or something to be concerned with because it also came with a drop-off in production last year and 110 games. So this is 2 years in a row now of the smaller sample, lower production Austin Riley. Where do you come out with him?
So last year when we had the down season, I was like, hey, I think this is injury washout. Like the skills are
Yeah, we gave him the break last year.
Yeah, the skills were largely intact. But then you have a second year in a row where he's missed a bunch of time. And the underlying skills aren't as intact, right? So we saw last year, like, he actually had a career high in zone contact. Well, this year, he had a career low if you don't include his 2019 rookie season in zone contact. Like, all of a sudden, his swing strike rate is up to 14%. Like, we're starting to see a decline in skills. Now, that could be blamed on the injury, and I don't think he'll be bad as long as he's on the field. I think you'll get like a 260-ish and, 30 home runs if he plays.
Competent player, yeah.
Yeah, like, which is fine where he's going. Like, this is honestly unlike Jordan Alvarez. Like, Riley's going in a good spot to take the gamble on the bounce back, especially at third base, which we know isn't a great position
No.
to begin with. So I don't mind this this spot for him. I think he kind of is in no man's land in between, like, you know, kind of in a tier of his own, right? You got the top four, which are clearly the elite options at the hot corner, and then a big drop off after him as well. So when you start moving into the Miguel Garcias, Eugenio Suarez, Alex Bregmans of the world, so like I feel like Austin Riley is this kind of line of demarcation at the position. I do wonder if that means he's going to move up, if people are going to start like looking at the bottom end and go, especially if he comes in healthy, into spring training, and people start getting really worried about the position. Will we see Austin Riley jump up?
You know what I think might happen?
20 picks? Like,
I hope not, by the way, because then I'm not paying it. 69, I can get there with Riley. But what I hope, or what I think might happen, is because, like you said, he's almost on an island with the ADP at third base. I wonder if he'll be used as a magnet to bring guys like Garcia, Suarez, Bregman, and maybe Westberg believers, we'll get to him, up a little bit, wherein people say, well, I like that group. I don't really want Riley. I'll take the little bit of a discount, but I'm still going to move my third baseman up. And I wonder if they start to trickle up a little bit, because that is such a gap. Pick 70. That's a 2-round gap of no third baseman.
I think Bregman will definitely rise. Like
especially once he signs, right?
Once he resigns, like he will for sure, and shows health and all that stuff.
I took him 110 in the Gladiator in Arizona.
He should be going in the top 100, I think. So like I think Bregman will rise.
I think Garcia is the other one. What about him? Because he's had fantasy hype now the last couple of years.
I'm a Garcia stan. I love Miguel Garcia.
Do you think the hype train might work in because we know that the offseason goes in cycles. It's a long offseason. So guys, come in waves, and we start to see some people, people are buzzing on him now. Did you know Miguel Garcia had a 6-WAR season? Oh my God, he went 16, 23, 286. I wonder if people can start to build a buzz profile on Garcia and make him a firm top 100 guy.
I think the problem with Garcia in that regard is that he is not your traditional third baseman.
That is true.
He doesn't give you the traditional third base stats that you're looking for. So he ends up being kind of a fit that doesn't work real well with a lot of builds. So like if you're looking for that power from your first, third outfield kind of positions, you're not getting it with Garcia in that build. So I think
it's like an atypical third baseman with 16 homers. If you're getting your power elsewhere and you're
way better for auctions, to be honest.
I agree with that too. Yeah, because you can get discounts on him too.
Yeah.
In the right room.
I mean, I love Garcia. I will pay that top 100 price on him. I just don't know that everybody else will. It wouldn't be surprising to see him move up a little bit, just because he is coming off of such a good year and he is such a good pure hitter. But I don't think he's going to rise the same way that Bregman will. That
I agree.
Maybe Suarez will.
I was going to ask, what about when he signs? Could he also, if it's in a a hitter friendly spot, maybe he jumps up 20 or so picks, and all of a sudden Suarez could be a top 100 guy.
Suarez hasn't been in a friendly hitting environment since Cincinnati.
Cincy? Yeah,
and he's still just, all he does is put up 30 bombs and and kind of.
He quietly hit 49 last year, and it's particularly quiet because it was split between the two leagues. And so, I know there's not as much league demarcation in today's game, especially with interleague every day. But, if you're looking at an AL or NL only leaderboard, you're only seeing the 36 with Arizona, which is, of course, a great number, but then only 13 with Seattle for Suarez. So he's another one who could sneaky move up. But I agree with you. Garcia might not have that same pull because of what generally people look for at third base. But with Riley, he is sitting there. You are right, though, that it could also go the other way where he gets dragged up, because then people say, well, he's not that far from Machado. I can bet back on him again. I'll take him at pick 58 instead of 69, and start inching him up, which I hope doesn't happen. I think 69 is a good spot, and not just for the meme. It's a great spot. I think it's a really nice place to get him, but I'm not going to pay too much more. So if he does start moving into the top 60, top 55, that's where I would duck out on Riley, because it is 2 years in a row now with the injury concerns that have held him back.
Honestly, I expected him to kind of be more in the 48 range of his min than in the 68 range or 69 range where he's at.
Yeah, so we'll see if that holds. He went 79 in the Gladiator I was in. Now, these are ADPs for draft champions, and then I'm giving you all ADPs for a Gladiator, so they aren't the same thing. They are definitely different, and when that format makes it for a much different pick. I'll explain why that might be, right? If we see somebody who would go much higher in a Gladiator than they would in a DC, if there is a big pick discrepancy, we can acknowledge that. I don't think any of these guys will have that, though. Let's go to our next guy here. He's going to get a lot of talk in the offseason because, frankly, he did last year, and we have to run it back with him, too. And it is a little bit, well, no, never mind. Sorry, I was going to say it's a little bit of an Austin Riley situation, but no, he wasn't hurt last year. He just didn't perform, and people gave Adley Rutschman a little bit of a pass. I was one of them. Said, it was an okay year. It was just kind of a dip year. It doesn't mean that he's on the downward cycle, and he can bounce back and be back more into the 2022-23 version. I'm staying in on Adley. And I ate it because he was terrible. 90 games, 365 plate appearances, a little bit of a lower threshold to be kind of a fuller time catcher. So that's still a pretty big number of plate appearances at catcher. It did not go well at all. 9 homers, 29 ribs, 220 average. He was unusable when he was playing. And now we have health concerns with Adley lingering. Samuel Basallo lurking over his shoulder, although I don't see him being a great catcher that is really going to force him out defensively. I still wonder if Basallo is best as like the backup catcher / first baseman / DH, and Adley is still the premier defender, but that can be a discussion for another point. Fantasy-wise, is Adley somebody you're willing to buy back in on? Last year, pick 62. Early this year, pick 165, somebody who's actually dropped here 100 plus picks.
Yeah, I think this is a great buyback right here. Like, I mean, he missed a lot of time with injury. He had the injury around the All-Star break, came back, seemed to starting to getting his footing back, and then had the oblique injury that pretty much ended his season middle of August. So I think he is still just a very, very talented player. The Orioles team committed to him. Basallo's not going to take away time from him. Like this idea that they've got Basallo too. Maybe they move Rutschman. They're not moving Rutschman.
No.
Basallo is not a catcher long term. If they move either of those guys, it's Basallo.
It'd be Basallo, yeah. But they should just move him to first because O'Hearn was traded at the deadline anyway. Or Mayo at first, Basallo DH. Again, you can let him catch some, get as much catching out of him as you can. But Adley's an actual, by the way, I should point out, his defense remained excellent.
Yeah.
So from that standpoint, they're still getting about 2 WAR out of him in 90 games. So the player value was still there on some level for Baltimore. So they shouldn't be throwing him out with the bathwater either. And I agree with that they are going to stay committed to him. And I am too. At pick 164, this is a guy I've loved. I ate it this year. I'm going to get not my revenge. I almost said revenge. I'm going to get my buyback next year, though. I'm going to go in, take the discount, and hopefully get, I know it doesn't count anything for this year, but mentally for me, if I can get a great year this year at the discount, I'll feel less bad about the hits I took this year with Rutschman.
I think the contact skills were the best of his career this year. Best zone contact, best zone swing, best swinging strike rate. He's never going to be a 30-plus homer guy. At least I don't think he is.
Unlikely, yeah, without changing his profile.
Well, and especially in that park, right?
Agreed.
That park isn't, playing to his strengths. But could he be a mid-20s guy with a 270, 280 batting average? Absolutely. He's got the contact profile. If Rutschman hits 300 one year, I'm not going to be surprised.
Literally the next sentence I was going to say is you say 270. I'm he has the plate profile to rip 300. The BABIP's never cooperated. And I wonder, now, is that something in his game? Because his high watermark for Rutschman is 303. That was in 2023. He had 291 the year before, which is about league average, but then 272 and 240 the last 2 years. Is he not striking the ball hard enough to generate quality BABIPs?
I think injuries were the issue the last 2 years.
Okay.
I mean, you had the thumb issue, I believe it was in 2024, and then multiple injuries this year. I would expect him to get back to a 280 kind of level in terms of the BABIP, and then we could see hey, if things go well, things go right, all of a sudden maybe he pops a good year. I mean, the dude makes an insane amount of zone contact. 92% is elite. Does not swing outside zone, has a really, really good understanding of the strike zone. Struck out a 16% rate this year. I just think there's so much goodness in Adley Rutschman's bat. Getting him at 160 is a dream scenario for me.
Catcher's so deep.
Yeah.
And I love so many of the guys, even the premium ones, but I might end up literally doing like a Rutschman Kirk double dip at that same price point. Kirk's about 10 picks cheaper, ADP 174. But if I was on a turn somewhere in that range and I had no catchers, I just go Rutschman Kirk and feel great about it. Like
Yeah.
we've talked about the last several years, you do not wait till the very end with catcher. Back end catcher, even in a deep pool, is going to be trash. I don't think you want 23, 24, but that would be 12 and 13, or excuse me, 11 and 12 there with Rutschman and Kirk.
It's really not a bad year to wait late this year. I mean, like now here's
I still
the thing.
love Stevenson too. I'll wait late for my second. I still want a more bankable asset for my first one.
You're getting, JT Robuto, like 2.6 or 2.36, like
as your C2 now,
2.55, Logan O'Hoppe 2.60. Now I do want to say that like a few years ago we had this exact same situation. We had this like amazing year at catcher, and then the following year it was not as pretty. A lot of guys got hurt.
Do we think that that is it just because like catcher is hard to stay consistent at because you get the crap kicked out of you back there?
You get the crap kicked out of you, and it's a position in which you're not guaranteed to get a crap ton of plate appearances.
Right. Like, so you are at the mercy of like your BABIP and stuff too, because if you don't run hot or even run well, you don't have time to make up for it because you're only playing X number of times.
But the guys that I really like when I'm waiting a little bit or a lot of bit on catcher are guys like Rutschman because the floor is so safe usually in that batting average, right? Alejandro Kirk is another really, really good example who I, a fair amount of shares of this year. Like, yeah, he doesn't have a massive amount of upside, but he's not going to hurt you the way that bottom end of the pool will. So, like, for me, like if I can get a Rutschman as my, C1 and then get like a Tyler Stevenson as a C2, like I'm
about that.
Even Kyber Ruiz, like at 408, I'm loving that. Like
you're highlighting these contact guys who can bring batting average because the silent killer of bad catchers is the batting average because we generally slough it off that, hey, they're not going to do too much damage because of the plate appearances. And they will do less. I do acknowledge that. But when it's my weight, it's still damaging.
It's a negative value. It is.
Yeah. If it's low 200s or anything sub 200, even if it's 340 plate appearances at bats, it's still bludgeoning you. So yeah, be careful. Love Adley. I'm totally in on the buyback. Let's say he has a spring back in reputation. Again, off season could go. A lot of smart people going to be in on him. They're going to see the plate skills that we saw. 165 ADP, the next catcher is 124. So there's another big gap there. Could he move a little bit into that middle? And what price point would you still be comfortable with if Adley did trickle up into the 140s, 150s? Would you still be fine with a round or two up? Okay, because I would too, by the way. I have wiggle room here for what I'd be comfortable paying.
I'll probably be the one taking him at 150.
Right, because I don't want to wait, play chicken and lose him. So yeah, I will move him up just by virtue of not wanting to get caught, because you never want to just play directly to ADP. That's how you get burned. Get burned if you want certain guys. If you don't care, if you're taking what the draft gives you, then keep playing ADP and take the next guy in the tier. That is also a viable strategy, I should point out. Okay, next up is Marcelo Ozuna, whose ADP last year was a nice 69. This upcoming year, it will not be that high. He also took a dip. Do you want to guess what his ADP? Do you happen to know his ADP right now?
I don't know his ADP.
268, a 200 pick dip. The folks are saying we're done with Marcell Ozuna. Now, it was a tough year. 21 homers, 60 and 60 on the runs and ribbies with 20 homers. Like, it's not nothing. 232 average. I mean, that's better than I thought. As I'm looking at it, I was going to say that was a pretty rough year. I mean, it was, but like he had a 16% walk rate, which helped him stay on base and score those ancillary runs. 60 and 60. Again, I'm not going to say that this was worth a top 70 pick. Of course it wasn't. That's why he's on this list. But as bad seasons go, I've seen a lot worse. Why is he 200 picks cheaper? Is it just because he's 35 and he's Marcell Ozuna?
Yeah, I mean, he's 35.
He's a free agent, right?
He's UT only. He's a free agent.
Okay. It's because he's a free agent. But how much can he go up, do we think?
I think he's definitely going to go up.
100 picks if he signs to a full-time job somewhere?
I don't know if he'll go up 100 picks. He's still 35.
Right. He's 35 coming off of a tough, like, it is still a tough year. I'm saying it was
I think it really depends on where he signs.
Okay.
Like what kind of park. Not that Ozuna's power doesn't play anywhere. Like Ozuna could go to the worst park in baseball, and I'm not going to be worried about like his
Sure, but if
power
he did,
output.
his price won't go up. Like if he
Yeah,
goes to Seattle, he's going to stay in the 260s,
that'd be
250s,
a
I think.
fun landing
I
spot.
think that'd be kind of interesting. I said that on purpose because I'm like, it wouldn't be terrible. I know Seattle fans want something bigger, but I think when you want multiple players, which they need multiple hitters to
Yeah,
come in, they can't all be huge. So you got to take a gamble somewhere. That might not be a terrible gamble on a bat there with
I'm trying to think
Ozuna.
of another. I mean, Texas feels like that feels like an Ozuna type
Oh my
of.
God.
I mean, they just signed Jock Peterson. That didn't work out, right? Like,
Ozuna and Adolis dropping 30 each. They become best friends.
right? Like, I mean, that Texas feels like a really good landing spot. Um, God, I'm trying to Cincinnati.
Somebody that loses out on Schwarber if he goes back to Philly.
Yeah, he's gonna go
Or
back to
Philly
Philly.
them. That's why I said that because I really,
Yeah,
really, really, really,
I
really think that they're going to go for him. So yeah, we'll see where Ozuna goes. So that's probably holding down the price a bit. But like Justin said, he's not going to make up all the price point just based on that. And in our Gladiator, he didn't go, which that's not that surprising because it's it'd be the last pick, it's UT only type of thing. But I mean, he is the only guy in the top 268 that didn't. He is the first guy who didn't go. If you're going just in order of the ADP that we did not take. Now there's a few more guys when you get lower, like we didn't take Volpe, we didn't take Berger, who's actually going to be on this list later as well. So anyway, that doesn't necessarily mean anything with a Gladiator situation. But yeah, I do think it's kind of incomplete right now. We can't talk too much about Ozuna until we know where he's going to go. But I think both of us are at least open to drafting him at that price
yeah.
point because it's one that can't hurt you if the spot is right.
Yeah, I mean, especially looking at like, I mean, this is a really interesting spot, honestly. I like a lot of these guys,
Me too. A lot of
like
fun, like
Brett
bet on your guy
Beatty,
types.
Josh Lowe, Trent
Kevin
Grisham,
McGonigal, if you want to bet
McGonigal,
that he
TJ
can break.
Friedel, like Colton Cowser. Like, this is a really fun area. Marcus Simeon, who we're going to talk about here in a little bit. Like, Jake Berger, we're going to talk about. Like, this is a really fun area. So,
Yeah.
like, I can understand why people don't go for him, but I look at that and go, in an auction, I'm gonna soak up a lot of those guys.
Oh yeah, and then like in auctions, Ozuna gonna be like $1 or $2, especially
Mm-hmm.
if you do anything early. Now I know a lot of auctions don't run in the winter when guys aren't signed or anything, but if you happen to be a sicko doing something like that, I bet you're getting $1
Mm-hmm.
Ozunas. All right, let's talk Brenton Doyle, a guy we love. And if you guys aren't familiar with the tragedy that he went through in season, I mean, I think for me it would explain everything. Like, you punch in, you do your work. He showed up, but
Yeah,
what can you do? They lost a child in
yeah,
season, and so he went out there. He put up his 538 plate appearances. He punched the clock. I guarantee the team. Well, I shouldn't guarantee. You never know. Teams can do some awful things, but I doubt they were running him up about his performance, saying like, where's your head at? They know where it's at. It was probably with his wife and his family while he was trying to get through those 3 hours every day. So for me, that's a washout. Now, I don't think he forgets next year and doesn't, but it is something with time that heals, and you do see players rebound.
mm-hmm.
Gene Segura, remember, had a
Yep,
terrible tragedy. They lost a child to a drowning incident in season, and
yeah,
unsurprisingly, it affected his performance. He bounced back, had some of the best years of his career after that too. So you can emerge from tragedy. With Doyle, again, it was rough. 233, 274, 376. We know. Still did 15, 18 on the homers and steals, kind of showing his raw skills. Are we back in on our boy Brenton Doyle? He was top 70 pick, top 75 at 72 last year. Double that this year. He's at pick 151. I'm buying back in. What about you?
absolutely. I mean,
100%.
yeah, like this is one of the easiest ones here. I just think that this was all off the field stuff, kind
Yeah.
of weighing him down. You're getting a really nice discount on Brenton Doyle. The skills were all intact. You look at, like, yeah, the zone contact dipped a little bit, but so did his own swing rate. So, like, he was just being a little bit maybe too selective, which is understandable if his head's not completely in
Right.
it. But
Right.
the barrel percentage was actually a tad bit better. The max exit velocity was better. The hard hit percentage was better. Like, I think he's a 250 to 260 hitter with the kind of power we saw in 2024 and a bunch of stolen bases, right? So the 2030 guy that's going to hit 250 to 260 in Colorado, where like that BABIP could get boosted up and all of a sudden, he spikes a 280 year one time. Like, yeah, I'm all in on Brent Doyle this year.
Yep, I have nothing to add to that except that I'm doing the same. I'm not quitting this guy. He's a remarkable talent. It is an interesting band that he goes in because like the draft has really put the right guys together here. It's Joe Adell, Brenton Doyle, Jacob Marcy, Brandon Nimmo, Sedan Rafaela, like all in a very tight band of ADP of like 8 picks. I'm really impressed by that because, yeah, give me one of those. Doyle and Marcy are my favorites. Rafaela is somebody I quite like, but I would even take the ones I didn't say.
You know what the crazy part to me is the guy who's going a full round ahead of that is Luis Robert. People just don't people are
You
still
just
going.
don't learn because he should be right with that group and
Yeah,
at
he
the
should
back
be,
end
yeah.
of it
Yeah.
because he is Doyle without the stadium to protect the bad plate skills because let's be honest, the one flaw with Doyle is that he doesn't take walks and he strikes out too much, but he has a stadium that can protect it and he still makes good contact like Justin pointed out, and the power is there so that Coors basically helps him. If Luis Robert went out there and put up those same skills, I would take him. But like you said, a round earlier, that's crazy with all these very similar Luis Robert type substances going a round or 2 later. How you taking Luis Robert over Joe Adell after the years those two gentlemen just had?
I don't know. I mean,
how do you make that, like, what is the calculus there?
I mean, they have very similar underlying skills.
Right. So why wouldn't I guess, well, I want to be clear. I'm not saying Joe Adell has to go above Robert because of what he did this past year. I'm not that prisoner of the moment. The ADP should be 0.0001 apart. Like, I feel like when one goes, the other should go.
I'm going to take it back. Actually, Adell had really, really good underlying skills. There was a lot of underlying skill growth for Adell over the course of the last 2
So then he should be even higher than Robert. So basically, we're not taking Robert to save our lives. And frankly, I could have put him on this list. How many plate appearances did he have? Maybe he didn't make my plate appearance threshold. No, he did.
Yeah.
Well, you know what it could have been? What was his ADP last year? Because I did a few threshold searches. It started with top 100, top 110 picks. I
think he was in that, wasn't he?
Then I missed him. Then I just missed him because I think Robert probably should
Maybe he
be
wasn't
on this.
He might not have been.
Well, let's move on to our next guy while I look that up because this guy disappointed me. I can't remember where you were. Yeah, he was. He was pick 88. Yeah. Luis Robert should be on this list, but we just covered him. We're not back in. Not interested at all. But our next guy, Matt McLain, has disappointed me greatly. I really, really took to this guy as an amateur, or excuse me, not as an amateur, as a minor leaguer. I didn't really know about him when he was at UCLA, but I did like him a lot in the minors. I jumped on early, loved the rookie year we got in 2023. So I had goodwill toward him. You know, when somebody hits for you right away, you're like, yes, like that guy. Bought in on the skills, flame out, injury flame out in 2024, didn't play a single at bat. Okay, I can buy back in. I can give a guy an opportunity. He played too much. I wish this guy would have gotten out of the lineup at some point so I would have had an easier decision to get rid of him. 577 plate appearances, 15 and 18, like Doyle. In fact, he had a very Doyle-y season in his time here with Cincinnati, which is to say not very good. 220, 300, 343 for Matt McLain. Was 2023 a fraud? 89 games. 2025, just the negative end of what he can be, or as it often is, a mesh of things in between. Where do you come out on Matt McLain now going into year 3 here in 2026 at age 26?
I feel like it was kind of a mix of in between. I think that I think this is kind of who he is, except for he should be a little bit better in terms of the batting average. He makes pretty good, like league average-ish in zone contact. He just isn't, he doesn't have really a carrying tool for fantasy outside of his strong walk rate. I mean, he's been kind of a double-digit walk rate guy throughout the minor leagues. We saw him get close to a double-digit walk rate in 2025, but I just don't know that he is as special as maybe we thought he was coming in or coming out of 2023.
Right. He went 16-14, which is similar to numbers to what he did in a full year here. He did it in 170 fewer plate appearances. Matt McLain did 16-14 versus this year's 15-18 on the homers and steals. The average evaporated from 290 to 220, and that's really the crux of it. Can he get back to hitting? This is a good park, and this is a good lesson in, like, a park can only do so much if you're not putting
Hmm.
the ball in play, if you're not striking the ball well. It doesn't matter where you play. And we do that a lot with Colorado guys. I understand why we take shots on them and everything, but Cincinnati's a park like that too. And in a way, I'm talking to myself in the mirror because it's the reason I stuck with Gavin Lux. It's the reason I keep going to the Tyler Stevenson well, although he did do some things this year that are going to keep me coming back there.
Gavin
But
Lux feels like a really appropriate comp here too. It's just
right.
like,
For McLean, yeah, to bring it back to
yeah,
McLean, I think like, and with more speed because Lux
yeah.
was never really fast, but it could be pretty empty. Now, Lux had literally the most empty season ever last year, 503 plate appearances with 5 homers, 1 steal. So it won't be quite as bad, but from that same triple slash performance line, I think that's where McLean could be, which is just so average, so league average, and how many stats can you really generate from that? So I have some concerns about McLean. I should tell you that his ADP is going to be 212, which I think is a fair dip in
It's
price,
fine, yeah.
but not something that I'm chasing.
I mean, I think the question becomes like, if you get to that point without a second baseman, is that why? Like, is that the guy? Is that your guy you're going to go to, right? Because
Right.
like, then you've got Bryson Stott, you've got Luis Garcia Jr.,
If I get to that
Otto
point without a
Lopez.
second baseman, Justin, I've made a crucial mistake.
You've made a mistake. Well, and here's the thing: second base ain't great.
It's
Like,
not. It's
it really,
not, dude.
it
It's
really
bad.
depends on like what you like. I know there were some people at First Pitch Arizona talking up Jackson Holiday and Luke Keeschel and stuff
Sure.
like that, but like those are some
But
unproven
they haven't
talents.
shown it. Yeah.
Ozzy Albies has been like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde for
Mhm.
fantasy, and you're not always getting the monster. Brandon Lau just can't stay on the field.
Right,
Cedane
right.
Rafaela still has like questionable skills. Like once you get past that first 5, it gets
It's-
ugly.
It's rough. And I'm a Keeschel guy, but I
Yeah.
thought I was going to be a Keeschel guy because I thought he was going to be sneaky. He is the 6th second baseman off the board at pick 142.
142.
And that's a wide awake sleeper already. And he's
Mhm.
going to move up higher, I bet. So, yeah, I agree with you on second base.
For me, like, if you're not in on like a Matt McLean bounce back, like I'm waiting at second base. I'm waiting for Brett Beatty. I'm waiting for Colt Keith. I'm
I'll
waiting
just take
for Marcus Simeon.
Yeah, I'll take Glaber's 600 plate appearances
Brendan
at that
Donovan.
point.
Like,
B. Donnie would be nice.
it-
Jimenez.
it's almost like if you don't get one of the top 5, just wait forever. Like
I kind of think so
it's
because
super deep if you look at it.
well, deep in blandness, because what's the difference between McLean at 212 and Donovan and Edmund at 320 and 315?
Yeah, or Chase Mydroff at
Right. Our boy,
358.
our boy Colt Keith, who we still have some
Yeah.
hope for.
Like,
Right?
yeah,
Maybe some of those guys don't run as much, like Donovan and Keith maybe don't run as much as McLean, but it's also 100
it
bucks
almost
cheaper.
It almost feels like some of these prices are like people going, well, I've got to draft a second baseman eventually. Why don't I just do it now? You
Right.
know?
This
But,
feels like a
like,
second place spot, but or second base
None
spot.
of these guys really inspire much of anything.
No, second base is rough, y'all. And I want to be honest, I'm not even that enamored with the top. Jazz,
Yeah.
Cattell, Terang, Altuve, Horner are those top 5 that you mentioned. That's not 5 warm and fuzzies.
Honestly,
That's
this is a position where like I've got 2 guys queued up in Terang and Nico Horner. If I don't get one of them, I'm probably
I'll see ya.
leaving.
I'll see ya, yep.
I'll see you a lot.
I'll see you way later at that point. No, I'm totally with you. So yeah, second base is very bizarre and does give McLean a little bit more appeal than I thought he would have. I can get there in some spots, but I'm really not going to reach for that 212. It would have to come closer to the 242 max that we've seen with him because I'm with Justin. So many of these guys are the same. I'm just going to take my pick of what I need here from the bland bargain bin.
Yeah.
Let's talk Jordan Westberg, who, does he make this list anymore? No, he is no longer second base eligible. That's part of why it's not as deep. He is third base only, going at pick 136 now. That is only down from 90, so now he didn't fall off too much. Now, you guys might remember that Justin and I had a pretty thorough takedown of Jordan Westberg. We were just not a fan. We saw where he was going, pick 90, top 100. What is this based off of? I didn't like where we had him slotted, which was 7th in the order. That was really my biggest deal. I want to be clear on that. And the simple fact is he spent most of his time at number 2. One of our listeners made a wonderfully detailed case of why maybe we should be in on Jordan Westberg. And I was sold, Justin. I
You
was
were.
sold
Because
on
I was
it.
about to say, I was like, I don't remember you being on the
And
train with me. I remember the opposite.
right. And
You're
I
right.
thought it
You're
was a
definitely
good
the same way.
case. And I'm like, you know what? I like that. I believe in that. I'm going to go for Jordan Westberg. I'm going to take the plunge here. It didn't quite work out, but I will say this. It only didn't work out on volume.
Yeah.
I thought he played
Honestly,
fine.
if you're looking at a per plate appearance basis, Jordan Westbrook was actually pretty darn good.
So kudos.
The problem
Kudos, dear
is
listener.
we now have 3 seasons in a row in
Right.
which
That is
Jordan
the
Westbrook
problem.
isn't really providing much of anything in terms of volume. Which,
Yes.
when you have a guy, no, honestly, no. Let me rephrase that: 2 seasons in a row, because you can't count 2023 because he was in the minors for 300 plate appearances, right?
Right.
So 2 seasons in a row now where he can't stay healthy. He can't stay on the field. And the problem with guys like Jordan Westberg, who are ostensibly accumulators, is you have to be on the field to accumulate.
Right.
Now, his ADP right now is 134, which to me is like, I don't feel like we're getting the discount. Like, I feel like this is indicative of people still saying exactly what we're saying, which is if he stays on the field for 600 plate appearances, he's going to be pretty darn good. But I don't want to pay for that because he has yet to show that health skill. And
Right.
so, as much as I kind of want to be in on Jordan Westberg, and when I do my projections, I think my projections are going to say, like, this is an okay price. I don't know that, like, I think the downside doesn't warrant it, because if you only get 350 plate appearances, you're going to get another one of these seasons, which is really, really frustrating.
Just wish there was a bigger disc here. So Jonathan Reynolds, by the way, JR the Kid 32 was who made the case. And again, I responded to it. I was like, wonderful, wonderful case here. I love the talent, and I still do. And I will give him the win on the talent. It was just the volume that came up short and makes pick 90 very difficult. And that's why he's on this list. But then only dipping down like 2+ rounds to 135. I was like, where's my discount?
There is a sweet spot at third base. We talked about third base not being good, but man, it is.
It's right after this, right?
Yeah, it is the 11th third baseman through like pretty 19, much 19th, 20.
Yep.
Right? You're getting for a pick 178. You're getting Royce Lewis. Then you get Matt Chapman, Isaac Paredes, Matt Shaw, Murakami, Addison Barger, Mark Vientos, Caleb Durbin, I don't care, Max Muncy, Brett Beatty. Like, I couldn't
agree more.
I'm going to live in that area. That's where I couldn't agree more this year.
This is a great spot. I'm so in on Paredes again. I loved him last year. He did nothing to dissuade me. All he did was get hurt.
I kind of want to retract what I said earlier when we were talking about Riley, which is third base isn't very good. I think third base is actually really nice.
So, and it only makes not wanting to take him at 69 even more, right? Now you're skipping him even more, and now you're skipping the next raft of guys: Garcia, Suarez,
if I get Austin Riley, and this is why maybe Austin Riley isn't going to jump up, because if I don't get Austin Riley, like, I may just wait. Like, Matt Chapman at like pick 180, like, feels really, really nice. Like, I thought Brady's at 180, like. Addison Barger outside the top 200.
I am obsessed with that guy.
Max Muncy at 235 just feels like printing money.
It really does. So I'm actually going to go so far, because you wanted to retract your comment about third base not being that deep. I'm going to go so far as to say now that Austin Riley is wildly overdrafted.
I don't know that he's overdrafted, but I would say that I think that I can understand why people are just skipping him.
How different is he than Chapman? In overall, not just like what they did. Like let's just look at it as a sample.
Batting average, team around him. I think you got to give all of that to
team around him. Do I? I mean, where's Atlanta going?
I mean, if they're healthy, like this is, and then they've been a team that's been rumored to be like, they're going to be aggressive offensively. in
Average, I
fantasy.
got to give you. Last 3
Yeah.
years, 268, 240. I got nothing for that. That's 28 points. That's huge.
The weird 15-9 stolen bases the last 2 seasons for Chapman.
I don't know, but they count. They
They
count for
do.
me.
I don't know what
But
the
it
guy's
is very
going to
bizarre.
do
I
in
don't know
terms
what to
of
make of
running
it
game.
either.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is
So,
up 24-2 in the last 2 years. A lot of that is because he has the home run volume too, 48 to 35. But 35 in 200 fewer plate appearances, 270 fewer plate appearances for Riley is impressive. So okay, I'll retract or whatever the qualify the extra that I had on
yeah,
it.
yeah.
I do still think he's being overdrafted, but I won't say wildly overdrafted.
Is it 100 pick difference though? Like
That's
I
the
think
point I want to
I think
underscore.
I
So
think that
Chapman's being
that's the
underdrafted.
argument.
How about that? Chapman's
I
being more
I think
underdrafted than
all these
Riley's
guys
being
are,
over.
honestly, like, why isn't Westberg and Marte going in the same area?
Yeah, they should be. Westberg and Marte being at the tail end of Bregman, who we also believe is going to go way up. They should be pushed down to this Lewis Chapman raft, and then Bregman should be up with Riley, which is what we said, which would leave Suarez and Garcia on a no man's land. Garcia, while people figure out what to do with a stolen base third baseman, and
Hmm.
Suarez while we wait for him to sign. That's
And
what I
then,
think is going to
I mean,
happen.
Murakami will be at the top of
And
this
he'll jump
tier.
when he
Yeah.
signs too.
You know, I'm going to buy back in on Royce Lewis.
Me too, because now he's picked 180. I'm an idiot. I'm sorry. I'm an
Yeah,
idiot.
I
I'm
am
going to do
too.
it again. I
I'm going to
can't
fall for it
help
again. Yeah,
myself.
I know.
Oh, is that right? Is it
Yeah.
5 o'clock? Well, I got 3 more players, Buttercup. All right, next up is Marcus Semien. We hinted at him. We have him and Berger. Let's put them together because they're going to have Mark Vientos in between them. We'll move him to the bottom because we have our 2 Texas Rangers here. They went 108 and 104 last year, respectively, Semien and Berger. And obviously, they didn't return anything close to that. They had dreadful seasons, as did Texas as a whole. Semien rebounded a bit. He was unbelievably bad to start the year, but he finished up with a palatable season, I guess. I mean, that's the nicest way I can say it. 230, 305, 364 was bad. 15 and 11. If you held on, you got some volume, but he was bludgeoning you.
Mhm.
And then Berger went down, like started poorly, got sent out, came back, looked good when he came back, but then fizzled out again. Ends up with 16 homers in 376 plate appearances, 236, 269 OBP, oh my God, and a 419 slug. Let's start with Semien. Can you possibly get back in now? 2 years in a row. He's getting old. Can he be relied upon anymore?
I mean, I want to believe because I've just loved Marcus Semien
Pick
his
280, by the
his
way. Pick
entire
280.
career. I have a really hard time doing it though. I think the only value is he's going to play every day, and that isn't much of value considering what kind of production he may give you at that spot. I mean, this was his first time since 2017 where he did not play in 159 games or more.
Jeez.
So
the Iron
like,
Man goes down. Time comes for us all.
and I do feel like this is time coming for him. Like,
We have
right?
to take the sign, right? Like,
Yeah.
don't convince. This is one of this show's favorite players over the
Yeah.
last 5, 6, 7 years. We love this guy. Stop drafting him, y'all. It's over. And it was over last year. Greg, you were right. Okay? Greg came on this show. He told me in private, stop drafting your boy. It's over. It's over as a fantasy player. Now, he is cheap enough that in a draft champions, I'm not going to say no to it entirely because 550 plate appearances.
It is a straight volume play.
And there will be value for that in DCs, but I'm talking more like your redrafts, your online RotoWire online championships, your main events, your home leagues. We're done with Semien. We're done.
Marcus Semien should not be drafted in 10 or 12 team leagues. That is for sure.
Don't touch him. And in 15s, don't let it be you. He's going to get drafted. Don't pick him. Don't pick him.
The problem is, like, once you get past Semien, what do you got?
I already have my second baseman is what I have.
Well, yeah, for sure. But like,
But,
we're talking,
okay,
this is like an MI
Keith,
spot, right?
Keith,
Yeah,
Keith,
I'm taking Cole.
Edmund, Donovan. You don't take all
Donovan,
3 of them?
I'm taking Donovan. I'm
Take
probably
Jimenez?
taking. I don't know if I'm.
Doesn't he bring a speed dynamic that's at least better? Jimenez, how many did he steal? Let me check that. Let me check my
Jimenez,
work.
yeah.
He was pretty bad too. He was pretty
The
wretched too.
problem
Okay,
with
I'll take Semien over
Jimenez, like, hits at the bottom of the lineup
Yeah.
in Toronto, and they don't let him run down there.
Nah, he's terrible. He's for fantasy purposes.
He also
he's
only
terrible.
he had less than 400 plate appearances, so like,
Right, but still
that
only
hurt
12
him.
SBs. Even if you double that, that's only up to 24,
Yeah,
which is well below the 30 he had for 2 years running. So Probably not on him. You're right. It gets very barren after that. Clement with the triple position eligibility. Christian Campbell doesn't have a job. Chase Mydroth, kind of interesting. I actually kind of
Volpe.
like him. Who?
Volpe.
Oh yeah, Volpe.
I mean, we're talking MIs. You know, Volpe.
I would take Volpe. Yeah, over Semien. I have to.
Yeah, I would take.
I have to.
I
would
mean,
take
I might even take like a Chase Mydroth or a maybe take a shot that Christian Campbell figures it out.
Yep.
Like,
I would take McGonigal and bet on him trying to break camp with the
McGonigal's
Tigers.
going ahead of Semien.
He is going ahead of Semien, but if I was in that area, that 250 to 270 range, and I was looking for a middle infielder, I would probably take the gamble on the blind shot.
I'm gonna say something I think may sound a little bit crazy, but like I'd be interested in taking like Hyeseon Kim. Like I know, like
and you could wait forever on him,
right? Like because like think about Hyeseon Kim, right? That first year was kind of an adjustment year. He didn't play full time. He was still kind of figuring things out.
This is pardon me. This is the Dodgers second baseman, Hyeseon, and you did put the pronunciation on both, by the way. I want to be clear on that.
Hyeseon Kim, he like had a little bit of adjustment, but like they seem to start to trust him a little bit more. And as things are constructed right now, obviously that can change. He's scheduled to be on the strong side of a platoon at second base.
On the Dodgers?
Yeah, right. A guy who can steal some bases, got a pretty decent hit tool. Like I might take a gamble there over Semien. And that
I think
hurts me to say that.
It hurts. It hurts for me to bury his fantasy value. I'll be rooting for him.
I will draft Marcus Semien somewhere.
Just to have that one ticket. Just in case he bounces back for one more 155 game season.
700 plate appearances on a team that should be good offensively, where you know he's going to hit it towards the top. Like he like that is really, really
guaranteed
good.
PT is not worthless. And we play in deep enough leagues specifically. I don't say that to like brag about us. I'm saying we play in the formats to make a guy like that valuable.
But like, in 10s and 12s, especially for those of you who don't play in the deeper formats, like he should not be even.
Don't even take the chance.
Yeah.
Let him be a waiver pickup, or if somebody gets him and he happens to hit, fine. Yeah. Take better chances. There'll be better gambles in 10s and 12s than our boy Semien. He is a deep league volume play that can have some value, but not as much. What about Berger? Because we liked him. You were a big proponent of his. I totally jumped on board. I'm like, yes, I love what he's going to be doing in Texas. And again, it started off terribly. He got sent out. When he first came back, I was like, yes, it's clicking, because he had kind of a quick burst, but then it didn't go anywhere. He had one homer in each of July and August, finished with 4 in September, but that came with a 667 OPS. It just never really got going for Jake Berger. Washout year, or something to be concerned about as he flips the calendar over to age 30 next year?
Yeah, the underlying skills are kind of Jake Berger-ish, which is a guy who makes really good contact when he makes contact, but he swings too much outside of the zone. He's going to run cold a lot of the time. I think part of the issue at the end of the season was that we never got the good Berger, right? We got a lot of the bad Berger, but we never got the good Berger. Was he's gotten surgery on a tendon in his wrist already. So like I think there was an injury that he was trying to play through.
Gotta be. Yep.
You know, because the Rangers were trying to compete. He was trying to keep his job in the majors.
Absolutely.
And he probably shouldn't have. He probably should have just gotten surgery early. If he's looking good in spring, I will probably go back to the well because the price is so cheap.
Yep. And I will point out that Jake Berger price is, let me get it.
It's cheap. It's like
It is. Hang on. Oh, is he first base only now? Sorry, I went to third base like a doofus. He didn't play third base in like a decade. He's 288. I'm an idiot. He's 288 over at first base. Jake Berger is.
That's not bad, but like it's also not like, again, you're passing up on Cole Keith. You're passing up on Andrew Vaughn. Andrew Vaughn going 3.
So I was going to bring him up. I took him 260 in the Gladiator. I can't. No one's. Did they just miss the Milwaukee? Like, I'm not saying he's a god, but he's not a top 300 pick. Andrew Vaughn.
He was a god in the second half.
He certainly was, and I'm not saying that's who he is for a full year. No, he's the guy. I think they're buying in on him.
This is a super low price on Andrew Vaughn that I will be all over. Like,
and it means we won't be getting Berger, because if Vaughn doesn't leapfrog Berger, I'm always going to wait for Vaughn. Excuse me.
Is first base just stacked that I don't realize that like? Why is
stacked is not exactly the word I would use.
No, it's pretty stacked.
Okay. I'm being
Yeah.
convinced as I'm thumbing through.
Yeah, it's pretty stacked. But still, like
Yeah, no,
Jake
it's
Berger should be going above Kyle Manzardo, above like Jake or sorry, Andrew Vaughn should be going above Kyle
okay.
Manzardo.
Yes, because I was gonna say Berger
Um,
maybe shouldn't because isn't Manzardo just younger Berger with
should
a little
I
bit
mean
more plate
Andrew Vaughn
discipline?
should be in the top 200. He's not in the top
That
300.
I agree with. Yeah, if we're on the Vaughn train here, like I said, I took him 260 in the Gladiator. I thought that was totally fine. That would put him, that would still put him behind Manzardo, who has a 236 ADP. Kyle Manzardo went 167 in my Gladiator.
167.
Look, no one had like we're going in blind there. I'm not throwing stones at anybody, but we could look back on my picks and have some, but 167 is a little surprising for Manzardo. I'm just gonna say
Second half on
for Vaughn.
for Andrew Vaughn, 7 home runs and 234 plate appearances, had a 9% walk rate, a 14.5% strikeout rate, hit
That's the
304,
thing.
369, 466.
It's that strikeout rate.
And like the skills are like in line. Like
Yep.
he's hitting the ball hard. He's making a great amount of in zone contact. He's going to be hitting 5th in Milwaukee. Like, sign me up.
I couldn't agree more. Like again,
I might sign up for I was going to say like I'm trying to like stay away from like a Gladiator, but like I might sign up for a Gladiator just for that price.
just to get Vaughn at that insane price point. No, I'm with you. Like I said, I got him, and I'm going to continue to draft him. Berger, I'm not out on. The price is okay. It's just kind of a fine. It's like maybe I'll land on him somewhere, but I'm not seeking him out, nor am I seeking out this next guy. And this was one where I always have the battle of heart versus head on certain guys that I really, really like them. I root for them, but my fantasy brain tells me this is not a good draft. And Vientos was that guy last year. It was very clear that with his plate skills that he ran hot. He had like a 28% K rate, 7% walk rate. He just looked like that classic guy who ran hot with his power and that he was going to come back to earth this year. That felt like one of the easier calls. I understood why we wanted to believe that, no, this is the first step to a 40 home run hitter. No, it could be the first step. Then he could step back and then bounce back forward. This year, maybe, but it was very clear to me that he was going to come down, maybe not as much as he did. He ends up playing 463 plate appearances, which was more than he did in 24, but only hit 17 homers, so minus 10. 233, 289, 413 on the slash line for Vientos. It was rough. So he was picked 105 last year. He's down to 250 this year. Pretty hefty discount. Is it enough to buy back in?
I just don't know how I take him above some of the guys he's going in front of.
And he's going in that range that we've talked about a bunch of these players so far.
He's going literally the same spot as Max Muncy. He's going 251. Max Muncy's going 253. So I mean, within 2 picks of each other. I'll take Muncy easily there. And then we just talked about Berger. Like he's going 30 picks above Berger. Like what is the difference between Jake Berger and Mark Vientos?
Age is the only thing. A couple years of age.
I mean,
same skills, right?
Yeah, like
too many strikeouts, not enough.
And honestly, worse skills. Like Mark Vientos has never had a zone contact above 80%, which is that threshold that I talk about of being like, are you a major leaguer or not?
Right.
Like, I don't. I mean, I love Mark Vientos when I was getting him like outside the top 250.
Right. When we were stealing him.
Yeah, like now he is 250. I think there are other Mark Vientos types you can get for cheaper.
He might be consistently outside this 250 that you want him to be for Vientos. I will point out that he has a min of 118, and there are only 12 drafts, so that could really be
that's weighing it.
That's playing a good bit of weight. So let's put him. Let's just mentally here. Let's put him more in the 280s. Then where do you come out on Vientos? Let's put him like by Miguel Vargas and. Now right by Jake Berger. What if they have the same ADP? Is it Vientos easily for you since he's 5 years younger? You're still hesitating. You're still hesitating. Okay, no, that's compelling though.
It's really not for me like a question of like Vientos versus Berger. I'm probably not taking either of them at that point.
Okay.
Because you've got Colt Keith at 313, you've got Andrew Vaughn at 315, you got Josh Young at 319, you've got Kobe Mayo at 364.
I'm getting sold on him, by the way. I want to just put that little flag out there. We'll circle back to Kobe Mayo. I'm a long time, like I'm not that interested in him. I've had a little change of heart there, so especially at that price point, and I think he's gonna have a full-time job. So I want to put that out there with Kobe Mayo.
I just think there's so many like Christian Carcino Strand's going pick 405, or sorry, 505.
Oh my God, he is forgotten.
Like, I just, if I'm going to take a shot on an all or nothing power guy, give me one of those cheaper guys that I think will have playing time wherever, and like it's probably going to be Mayo more often than not.
Sure.
But I just don't see the, yes, there is 40 home run upside in Mark Vientos, but I don't think he ever unlocks it because he doesn't make enough contact.
And that's the whole thing. It's just like, can he make enough? There's a lot of guys who have 40 homer upside that, and I don't want to say this like demeaningly, like that's not an impressive thing. Of course it is to have that kind of power, but there are tons that have that upside that have a gigantic flaw that will prevent them from ever doing it. And it is the exact same flaw that Mark Vientos has, and he does not make enough contact. So there you go, a group of major busts from this year. I could have done inside the top 100 since we always do the round top 100, but I knew those guys that I did 104, 105, 108 were guys that we loved. Semien, Vientos, Berger that we talked about a lot. So I wanted to loop those three in as well. And then again, I was focused on volume, but I had to include Alvarez because I knew that people would say, how could you do a bust episode and not talk Alvarez? So there we go, Justin. We are back. We did the episode last week. We'll be at least consistent with one episode a week during the holidays here. I know Thanksgiving is moments away now, believe it or not. It's crazy to think that.
I know. I got to go shopping this weekend for all sorts of stuff.
It's crazy. We have a late guest to the pod, by the way, and she wanted to wish you a little happy birthday.
Thank you, Charlotte.
She said, "Can you come get this giant poodle away from me because they're trying to kill me?" Dang it. Okay, well, happy birthday just the same.
Thank you.
Are you and Jason getting together this weekend or in the weekend?
No, because it's my birthday. We're not.
Yeah. Enjoy your birthday.
Thanksgiving next weekend, probably not. So we will start back up again following Thanksgiving, and we'll also start bringing on some guests too. We got
absolutely. We talked with some folks in Arizona. We put some, hey, we're gonna get with you and get you on. So we'll be working on that. But it sounds like the vacuum's going. Something might have happened there, so I'm gonna go check that out. Justin, until next time, I'll talk to you later.
Take it easy.